At Buckingham Palace this afternoon, a brutally quick changing of the guard. Boris Johnson in to see the Queen, just half an hour after Theresa May had made the same journey. The Queen bidding farewell to her 13th Prime Minister and greeting her 14th. For Boris Johnson, this moment the culmination of his life's ambition. As he headed through protesters and well-wishers to Downing Street to deliver the speech that would set the tone for his premiership. Walking up to stand in front of his new home, a man who's always liked the limelight, finally making it centre stage. Speaking over jeers from the street outside,
I have just been to see her.
He promised the country a dose of optimism.
It has become clear that there are pessimists at home and abroad who think, after 3 years of indecision, that this country has become a prisoner to the old arguments of 2016. And in this home of democracy, we are incapable of honouring a democratic mandate. And so I am standing before you today to tell you, the British people, that those critics are wrong. The doubters, the doomsters, the gloomsters, they are going to get it wrong again. The people who bet against Britain are going to lose their shirts because we're going to restore trust in our democracy. And we're going to fulfil the repeated promises of Parliament to the people and come out of the EU on October the 31st. No ifs or buts.
Under the gaze of the partner he so famously rowed with, he promised more than Brexit, making pledges on police numbers, health, education and social care, and saying this:
I will take personal responsibility for the change I want to see. Never mind the backstop, the buck stops here. And that means uniting our country, answering at last the plea of the forgotten people and the left behind towns by physically and literally renewing the ties that bind us together.
He promised a new and better deal with the EU, but had this warning too.
And it is, of course, vital at the same time that we prepare for the remote possibility that Brussels refuses any further to negotiate. And we are forced to come out with no deal, not because we want that outcome, of course not, but because it is only common sense to prepare.
And he ended with this.
And after 3 years of unfounded self-doubt, it is time to change the record. No one in the last few centuries has succeeded in betting against the pluck and nerve and ambition of this country. They will not succeed today. We, in this government, will work flat out to give this country the leadership it deserves. And that work begins now. Thank you very much.
That's the speech that Boris Johnson has waited his entire political career to deliver. Imagine his sentiment as he now walks through that door as Prime Minister. He made it clear he wants to look beyond Brexit. The next 99 days will determine whether he ever makes it to that point. It hasn't been a smooth path to the top for Boris Johnson. Today, the bumps on the road were literal. His motorcade brought to a complete standstill by climate change protesters, bundled out of the way by police. Theresa May might feel she's been got rid of with unseemly haste too. At her final Prime Minister's questions, there was a parting shot lobbed at Jeremy Corbyn.
As a party leader who has accepted when her time was up, perhaps the time is now for him to do the same.
Applauded on her way out by the party who deserted her when she needed them. Her face said it all.
Thank you.
Returning to number 10 for the final time, Theresa May thanked the public who'd given her the chance to serve.
This is a country of aspiration and opportunity. And I hope that every young girl who has seen a woman Prime Minister now knows for sure that there are no limits to what they can achieve. Finally, and most of all, I want to thank my husband, Philip, who's been my greatest supporter and my closest companion.
That wasn't me.
Stop Brexit, shouted a heckler.
I think the answer to that is I think not.
Brexit hampering her script right up to the end. Her successor was clapped into Downing Street. This evening, he's finalising his cabinet. Now the moment of Boris Johnson's greatest power. Romilly Weeks, ITV News.